There's nothing quite like a good kiss to break a heart or two, as fans of these shows will tell you. Whether it's a tragic farewell, a shocking betrayal, or even a chance to save a life, each kiss easily ranks among the greatest tear-jerking moments in TV history. Few shows manage to throw more tragic obstacles between a couple than The Good Place. Heck, the fact that Eleanor and Chidi's relationship survives past that horrifying clown bed to begin with is a testament to their deep bond. But through reboot after reboot, the pair continually finds their way back to each other, giving fans some hope that true love does in fact endure. Sadly, all good things must come to an end, at least for a while, that is. By the later seasons of The Good Place, Eleanor and Chidi just aren't themselves unless they're sacrificing their happiness to save not only the world, but the afterlife too. So it only fits that the Season 3 finale sees the pair wipe Chidi's memory to save the good place and the souls of all humanity for good. As if that weren't enough to tug at the heartstrings, demon-turned-good guy Michael sets up a greatest hits montage of Chidi and Eleanor's moments throughout their hundreds of reboots. Of course, Eleanor can't help lighten the mood.
I know you're deflecting by making jokes about how hot you are.
It's not a joke, I'm a legit snack.
But there are tears all around when she kisses Chidi and the season goodbye. The brutal blow of this not-so-final kiss between Eleanor and Chidi is only softened by the knowledge that, in the end, these two get the happy ending they deserve, however bittersweet it may be. Supernatural's Dean and Jo had a will they won't they vibe from the moment she showed up in Season 2, but Dean was careful not to cross the line. However, Dean's self-restraint gets thrown out the window and abandoned all hope when the apocalypse comes. Again, and for the first time ever, Dean tries unsuccessfully to pick someone up.
Sweetheart, if this is our last night on Earth, then I'm going to spend it with a little thing I call self-respect.
Clearly surprised at being rebuffed, Dean finally sees Jo as an equal and a genuine potential match. Sadly, hell hath no fury like a hellhound scorned. While the Hunters Brigade attempts to kill Lucifer, Jo's guts end up as puppy chow. Knowing she's on death's door, she decides to sacrifice herself in a supernaturally charged blast to give the Winchesters an open shot at Lucifer. With regret and grief in his eyes, Dean kisses Jo on the forehead, but it isn't enough. Teasing what their relationship could have been, he passionately kisses her before tearing himself away to have a few words with the devil. The kicker? All that sacrifice is for naught. Not even Samuel Colt's gun can take out the root of all evil, and Jo and her mother Ellen die in vain. Talk about a cruel farewell. Criminal Minds isn't known for killing off its main characters too often, but the death of Hotch's wife Haley was one of the most shocking moments in the show's history. And while fans love to hate the episode, it's hard to argue that it isn't one of the most brilliant of the whole series. Chilling and gut-wrenching, sure, but brilliant. Later, as Hotch is fighting for his own life in the hospital, he meets up with Haley in a trance-like vision. They watch her son's home videos at a theater, an apparent homage to watching over someone after death. Haley then convinces him to move on and be happy, because it just isn't his time to die. After years of tormenting himself with blame, still full of love and light, Haley tells him that it's okay. She lets him go with a kiss and her ring, promising to always love him. Whether the vision was real or Hotch's coma-addled imagination, the scene provides beautiful closure for her tragic, yet somehow hopeful arc. LGBTQ+ relationships often meet tragic ends on TV, but the one thing going for The Walking Dead in this case is the show's general propensity to kill off pretty much everyone anyhow. Eric and Erin were already dating when the Walkers began taking over, and even the coming of The Walking Dead couldn't tear them apart. Surprisingly, Eric's death isn't a result of the undead, but a group of survivors called the Saviors. Erin pleads for him to keep going, making it all that much more painful to watch.
You know I love you. You know I'm right.
Finally, realizing that his boyfriend's death is inevitable, Erin kisses Eric goodbye, and fans are left to pick up the pieces of their shattered hearts. Even worse, Erin leaves Eric to die without killing him, allowing his boyfriend to become a member of the undead. Most Doctor Who fans tend to prefer Rose and the 10th Doctor as a couple to Rose and the 9th Doctor, but the fateful kiss that causes 9's regeneration into 10 is the spark that lights their love story and changes the course of the series forever. The writers made the bold but inevitable move to kill off 9, who was the first Doctor featured in the show's 2005 revival, once actor Christopher Eccleston decided to leave the show.
But it's a bit dodgy, this process. You never know what you're going to end up with.
And so, thanks to the creative differences with Eccleston and the needs of an epic save-the-world story, the minute Rose and 9 lock lips marks the end of 9's existence. All the compelling darkness and grief that Christopher Eccleston had brought to the usually vivacious Doctor was lost after just one season. This sense of inevitability and melancholy permeates the whole episode, making the final kiss between Rose and 9 both cathartic and tragic. Sadly, it is to date the last time the 9th Doctor has appeared on screen outside of stock footage, as the drama between Eccleston and Doctor Who's producers continued for years after he left the show. Buffy and Angel are the poster children for tragic first love.
A vampire in love with a slayer. It's rather poetic, in a maudlin sort of way.
In simpler terms, their relationship is doomed as all hell. Over the course of the show, Buffy and Angel have seen their fair share of tragic farewells, but none of their goodbyes are as cruel as the Season 2 finale. Buffy ends up in a battle for Angel's soul after their participation in a few minutes of bad touch gives Angel one moment of happiness too many, causing him to be transformed into the nefarious villain known as Angelus. After going on a rampage, things get a little out of hand and Angelus opens a portal to hell. While Buffy succeeds in bringing back Angel, it's too late by that point, and the only way to close the portal is to chuck him right in. So, in tears, Buffy kisses her vampire lover one more time before stabbing him as the portal sucks him in, and she loses her first love forever. Well, not forever, but for a while. Michael and Sarah just can't catch a break, as they're always continually torn apart whenever they find a moment to be happy. Given that the show is called Prison Break, no one expected the innocent fugitive Michael to stay free for long after escaping during the first season. So where did they go from there? Well, he ended up in prison, again, and was forced to break out, again. Yeah, it's a little convoluted, but it's kind of the whole point of the show. When Michael's girlfriend Sarah kills a rogue FBI agent in Panama, she has a fairly understandable breakdown. So Michael makes the impulsive decision to fake taking her hostage at gunpoint when they get caught. They also both exchange verbal I love yous for the first time, sealing the declaration with a desperate kiss.
You sacrificed everything for me once.
No! Don't move!
Now it's time to say thank you.
As Sarah frantically protests, Michael takes the blame for the killing and is subsequently arrested and imprisoned. The next season, the writers wrote out a pregnant Sarah by shipping her character's decapitated head to Lincoln, a move that wasn't exactly warmly received by fans. They later retconned that particular arc after the same fans demanded her return with emails and boycotts, but it doesn't make Michael's premature goodbye kiss any less heartbreaking. Dealing with loss is hard enough when it happens on one occasion, but Grey's Anatomy likes to dole out death blows like candy. In Izzy's case, after losing her love Denny once, she loses him all over again when she herself is on the brink of death. Izzy initially watches Denny die when he suffers from a stroke after a heart transplant surgery. Still, he lives on to haunt her in her mind, which makes sense as she cut his LVAD device against his will to move him up the transplant list, risking losing her medical license. When Izzy suffers from cancer symptoms, she hallucinates Denny for a while, believing he's a ghost. As she kisses him one last time, he disappears into thin air, ripping them apart yet again and leaving her more lost and confused than ever. Fans will never quite know whether Denny was spiritually there or if it was just a hallucination. It's hard not to feel for Izzy given all that she's been through, but the true tragedy lies with Denny and her refusal to let him go, which may be the real reason she lost him in the first place. Game of Thrones easily wins the award for forging more family connections than any of its characters really ought to have. And that's definitely the case for Princess Marcella, whose uncle Jaime Lannister is also her father. Now, Game of Thrones fans meet many of the series' deaths with ambivalence or even celebration, but Princess Marcella's demise was nothing less than heartbreaking. Luckily, or unluckily, the princess's mother, Cersei, is no stranger to revenge, and in Marcella's case, her kiss of death happens twice. Because her mother is kind of the worst, Marcella is forced to flee Dorne and go back to King's Landing after her life is threatened. Still hoping to avenge Prince Oberyn, however, the nefarious Ilaria Sand dons a fierce shade of poisonous lipstick and kisses Marcella before the young princess leaves. Only Ilaria has the antidote, of course, and Marcella is basically doomed from the moment she leaves. Aboard the ship home, Jaime, who's accompanying her home, reveals that he's also her father. She admits she's always had a hunch, accepting him anyway. Marcella's nose begins to bleed, and it becomes clear that something has gone very wrong indeed. Jaime cradles Marcella as she dies, and not even the incestuous reveal is enough to take away the ironic Shakespearean tragedy of it all. As one of the only genuinely innocent characters in the series, her brutal death stands out as particularly cruel and unfair. Marcella's death doesn't go unavenged, however, and Ilaria also gets her just desserts, in the form of a poisonous kiss to her daughter, courtesy of Cersei. But hey, that's life in Westeros for you. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.